They call me Mr. Rollin', 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 rollin' up. Mr. Rollin', 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 rollin'.
What's good, y'all? Mr. Rollin' Up here with another Blunt Talk episode. And, I thought this morning we would kick it off with last night's Democratic debate that took place in Nevada. The big thing that the media is talking about is Mayor Bloomberg getting into the race. Is he going to win? The DNC, the media has their agenda of trying to push Joe Biden or Bloomberg, as we can see. But it ain't going to happen. The people had enough crap with Trump. Trump was manipulative and deceiving, and that was how he was able to win. He won over a lot of people that would have supported Bernie Sanders or even Elizabeth Warren. And since the DNC screwed over Bernie, all of those people jumped ship and went with Trump instead of the Democrat candidate. And so here we are 4 years later, almost kind of dealing with the same BS with Bloomberg trying to enter the race at the last minute, just using his money as leverage to catch up with everyone else. But again, when he's put in the hot seat against other candidates on the stage, he ain't going to cut it. It's like Trump, when we put Bernie or Elizabeth up against Trump, he ain't going to cut it because he's done too much he's done too much, stuff that doesn't go for the people. Trump was very shady businessman. He never was for the people. He's always been for himself. And again, just with the help of Russia and all the ads and stuff attacking Hillary, that's how they were able to win before, but it's not going to work this time around. So, I'm going to let this press play. We're going to roll up a nice morning blunt, and we're going to listen to this, and I'm going to shine in, as it goes on as well.
And stop and frisk. To beat Donald Trump, we're going to need the largest voter turnout in the history of the United States. Mr. Bloomberg had policies in of stop and frisk, which went after African-American and Latino people in an outrageous way. That is not a way you're going to grow voter turnout.
I actually welcomed Mayor Bloomberg to the stage. I thought that he shouldn't be hiding behind his TV ads. And so I was all ready for this big day. And then I looked at the memo from his campaign staff this morning, and it said that he actually thought that three of us should get out of the way. That is what his campaign said, because we should pave the way for him to become the nominee.
The mayor makes an interesting point. The mayor says that he has a great record, that he's done these wonderful things. Well, the fact of the matter is he has not managed his city very, very well when he was there. He didn't get a whole lot done. He had stop and frisk, throwing close to 5 million young black men up against the wall. And when we came along in our administration, President Obama, and said we're going to send in a moderator a mediator to stop it, he said that's unnecessary.
We need to get everybody's health care plan out here. Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan that was thought up by his consultants to paper over a thin version of a plan that would leave millions of people unable to afford their health care. It's not a plan, it's PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note. Insert plan here. Bernie has started very much.
Okay, Elizabeth.
It's a good start. But instead of expanding and bringing in more people to help, instead his campaign relentlessly attacks everyone who asks a question or tries to fill in details about how to actually make this work.
And most Americans don't see where they fit if they've got to choose between a socialist who thinks that capitalism is the root of all evil and a billionaire who thinks that money ought to be the root of
Bernie's
all
not
evil.
a socialist.
Somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood in an industrial Midwestern city. Let's put forward somebody who's actually a Democrat.
All right, Mayor Pete, just be quiet.
My time in office, the one thing that I'm really worried about, embarrassed about, was how it turned out with stop and frisk.
I do think that this really is about leadership and accountability. When the mayor says that he apologized, listen very closely to the apology. The language he used is about stop and frisk. It's about how it turned out. Now, this isn't about how it turned out. This is about what it was designed to do to begin with. It targeted communities of color. It targeted black and brown men from the
It's just
beginning.
like friggin' all the cannabis laws.
I've been nice to some women. That just doesn't cut it.
We have a very few non-disclosure agreements.
How many is
Let me
there?
finish.
How many is there?
None of them accuse me of doing anything other than maybe they didn't like the joke I told. And let me put, there's agreements between two parties that wanted to keep it quiet, and that's up to them. They signed those agreements, and we'll live with it.
And when he said they signed them, and they wanted them, if they wish now to speak out and tell their side of the story about what it is they allege, that's now okay with you? You're releasing them on television tonight?
Senator?
You're on the committee that oversees border security. You're on the committee that does trade. You're literally in part of the committee that's overseeing these things. And we're not able to speak to literally the first thing about the politics of the country to ourselves.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
I
made an error. People sometimes forget names.
I saw some of those tweets regarding the culinary war. I have a 30-year, 100% pro-union voting record. You think I would support, or anybody supports me?
See, Bernie has been for the people his whole career. Nothing shady. He's always voted for the people, not big business. Mayor Pete's whole campaign is being pushed by big business. That's where all his money came from. So cross him off my list.
But leadership is also about how you motivate people to treat other people. I think you have to accept some responsibility and ask yourself what it is about your campaign in particular that seems to be motivating this behavior more than others.
See, the one thing that I hate about these clips, and I was trying to, I was looking for, a full video on it, on the whole thing, because usually you can look at the whole video, and I haven't been able to find one because I hate the media always has their agenda pushing the candidate they want to push. This seemed kind of fair. It didn't seem like this was really advocating or behind one particular person. But it obviously might miss some good, tag teams or some good jabs that one of the candidates might make towards someone else. This one's 11 minutes, so this might actually... But again, this is MSNBC.
I originally came into Darden thinking that I wanted to go work on the investing side of the business.
And we know MSNBC, again, is going to be pushing that DNC agenda. So,
So begins our coverage. Brian Williams here with you in 6 people fighting for themselves, 6 people who depict what we just... With us, of course, time, unless there's something I don't know. Claire McCaskill, former Democratic senator from the state of Missouri. Jason Johnson.
The squad, there's a danger there. There wasn't
Release them right now.
Bloomberg, that's what Elizabeth Warren did to Bloomberg. She knew his weakness was the
this is just the whole, again, another recap. So they might not even have the full thing up online yet, which they should, but I went to this one. It cuts off, doesn't even show the whole thing here. This might actually show some of it.
But it was broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
I think we need something different than Donald Trump. I don't think you look at Donald Trump and say, we need someone richer in the White House.
It sounds you can beat Donald Trump. NBC did a poll yesterday. It says Joe Biden is best equipped to beat Donald Trump.
All right, Bernie Sanders is the best equipped to beat Donald Trump. So when we hear people talk about polls and whatnot, if the DNC really wants to focus on polls, we know 4 years ago when there were the polls and the research done. I can't remember the university. There's a college that always does these, research polls that they think who's going to win, of projections of who's going to win based on what and whatnot. And so many of these studies last year or 4 years ago were saying that Hillary Clinton would lose against Donald Trump, and that Bernie Sanders would win. Despite that, the DNC still sabotaged Bernie and wanted Hillary to win. We saw what happened there. So if again, when I see, Joe Biden trying to push the polls, which now Joe's like falling behind in polls. So I don't know why he would still even be running with that agenda, because he's losing. He's not going to win anymore. He was never going to win. The reason why the DNC still thinks they have a chance with Joe or even Mike Bloomberg is because they see how bad things are with Donald Trump, and things were pretty bad with George Bush before too. And Barack Obama was, it wasn't really a question. It was like, all right, Obama's the guy who's going to win. But this time around, it's more of a question, more of a debate, but we still have a lot of people saying no matter what, we have to vote for the DNC candidate. And that's where the DNC thinks that they still have a chance with being able to push a Mayor Pete, a Joe Biden, or Mike Bloomberg. But again, we saw what happened before. Let's not let this happen again. Bernie Sanders is the guy who's going to win, not Joe Biden or Mayor Pete.
No candidate who wants to buy this party out. Look, my campaign is fueled by hundreds of thousands of contributors.
And also
billionaires
and millionaires. Yep.
A few people who make ugly remarks, who attack trade union leaders. I disown those people. They are not part of our movement.
Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan that was thought up by his consultants. It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note. Insert plan here.
I must say I take personal offense since Post-it notes were invented in my state.
It's not whether he apologized or not, it's the policy. The policy was abhorrent. And it was, in fact, a violation of every right people have.
If we took off everybody that was wrong off this panel, everybody that was wrong on criminal justice at some time in their careers, there'd be nobody else up here.
That's not true.
I'm actually less concerned about
I don't think Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders would be going.
About the lack of transparency on how to pay for his health care plan.
I hope you heard what his defense was. I've been nice to some women.
Senator Klobuchar, my colleague specifically asked you if you could name the president of Mexico, and your response was no.
Yes.
You're literally in part of the committee that's overseeing these things, and we're not able to speak to literally the first thing about the politics of the country to ourselves.
Are you trying to say that I'm dumb, or are you mocking me here, Pete?
Let's just be clear. Missing a name all by itself does not indicate that you do not understand what's going on. And I just think this is so.
America is running out of
That's all they're bashing.
And this is our only chance to defeat Donald Trump.
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Is that it?
It's Workout World's 20th anniversary, and we're...
Joining me now from Las Vegas inside the spin room is Caitlin Burns, Linda Tran, and Nicole Killian. Nicole is a CBS News correspondent.
I don't want to hear what the media wants to say, because again, this is where they try to throw in, push their agenda too much. It's like that's whatever. But you know what? We're going to throw on Bernie over here.
Since the last time you all shared the stage, Senator Sanders, a self-described Democratic.
So this seems to be the only one.
Ooh. And there's a new person on the stage tonight, Mayor Michael Bloomberg, a former Republican who spent millions of his own dollars.
I will say really quickly, if you guys saw the first episode of Blunt Talk, you'll know that I predicted Bernie Sanders is going to win against Donald Trump. So I wanted to throw that out there after we heard what we just heard about him surging in the polls.
To run in this race. What hasn't changed, a majority of Democratic voters still say their top priority is beating President Trump. So Senator Sanders, the first question to you. Mayor Bloomberg is pitching himself as a centrist who says he's best positioned to win in November. Why is your revolution a better bet?
In order to beat Donald Trump, we're going to need the largest voter turnout in the history of the United States. Mr. Bloomberg had policies in New York City of stop and frisk, which went after African-American and Latino people in an outrageous way.
Ain't even holding
That
back.
is not a way you're going to grow voter turnout.
Attacking them from the jump.
What our movement is about is bringing working class people together. Black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, around an agenda that works for all of us and not just the billionaire class. And that agenda says that maybe, just maybe, we should join the rest of the industrialized world, guarantee health care to all people as a human right, raise that minimum wage to a living wage of $15 an hour, and have the guts to take on the fossil fuel industry because their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet and the need to combat climate change. Those are some of the reasons we have the strongest campaign to defeat Donald Trump. If speaking to the needs and the pain of a long-neglected working class is polarizing, I think you got the wrong word. What we are trying finally to do is to give a voice to people who, after 45 years of work, are not making a nickel more than they did 45 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We are giving a voice to people who are saying we are sick and tired of billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg seeing huge expansions of their wealth while 500,000 people sleep out on the street tonight. And that's what we are saying, Pete, is maybe it's a time for the working class of this country to have a little bit of power in Washington rather than your billionaire campaign contributors. We have over 10.6 million people on Twitter, and 99.9% of them are decent human beings, are working people, are people who believe in justice, compassion, and love. And if there are a few people who make ugly remarks, who attack trade union leaders, I disown those people. They are not part of our movement. But let me also say, what I hope my friends up here will agree with, is that if you look at the Wild West of the internet, talk to some of the African-American women on my campaign, talk to Senator Nina Turner, talk to others, and find the vicious, racist, sexist attacks that are coming their way as well. So I would hope that all of us understand that we should do everything we possibly can to end the viciousness and ugliness on the internet. Our campaign is about issues. It's about fighting for the working families and the middle class. It is not about vicious attacks on other people.
Senator, when you say that you disown these attacks and you didn't personally direct them, I believe you.
Well,
but at a certain point, you got to ask yourself, why did this pattern arise? Why is it especially the case among your supporters?
I don't think it is especially the case.
That's just not true. People know.
If to respond to Pete's little point there, ultimately when it comes down to it, there's so many people in the middle, and there's so many people that Bernie is able to win over from Donald Trump, that a lot of those people don't necessarily see things the way that they're trying to make it out to be, where they wouldn't be doing any name calling, they wouldn't be doing any real aggressive attacking, because a lot of those people are people that were under Trump. And when you were coming from Trump's side, that's all he does. That's all he did. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing, like I said, the other people were people that are in the middle, that basically probably wouldn't necessarily align themselves with the whole, hey, we got to play clean or whatever you want to call it. But then lastly, there are a lot of people, a lot of Democrats that are just sick and tired of what has gone on. And they know the reality of the situation is that Mayor Pete and Joe Biden are not going to win. So to just sit back and just take the blows that some of us are receiving in some of these debates and conversations and things, you get to a point where, especially after having a president like Donald Trump, you get to a point where you could only take so much you're gonna push back at some point. You're gonna fight back and be the aggressor, and we're kind of experiencing it right now. That's what I think, but we'll see what Bernie says.
If you want to talk to some of the women on my campaign, what you will see is the most ugly, sexist, racist attacks that are, I won't even describe them here, they're so disgusting. And let me say something else about this. Not being...
And that's the other thing. It's all about, you got to put it, compare, like you have to compare the attacks that, you know, Bernie's people and supporters are doing to others. The blows that many of us are taking and have been taking for years and years and years, it's nothing compared to the little jabs that we're throwing back. They're just not used to seeing us push back like that. They're used to seeing us just quietly going and protesting and marching. Don't say nothing. Don't be the aggressor. Don't, you know, be loud or anything of the sort. They don't want that. They want you to fall in line and just take it. Nah.
Too paranoid. All of us remember 2016. And what we remember is efforts by Russians and others to try to interfere in our election and divide us up. I'm not saying that's happening, but it would not shock you. I saw some of those tweets regarding the Culinary Workers Union. I have a 30-year, 100% pro-union voting record. Do you think I would support, or anybody supports me, would be attacking union leaders?
Come on.
It's not thinkable.
Bernie's
there are some
the dude.
Democrats who like.
Now, that's what I was saying before. Bernie has been for the people his whole career, and they hear him say right there, he's been pro-union for 30 years. Like, I don't, like, money talks, and obviously a lot of times you got a lot of places down south, for example, a lot of places where there should be a union, they don't have it. Now, not to say all unions are great, and not to say there's only, you know, they're perfect, but for what they mean and what they're trying to do is the point. And then until businesses want to actually bring unions on and accept them and embrace unions, that's how you know they're not actually for the people, and they're all about their money, the bottom line, and, you know, that's their priority. Their employees are secondary to the money.
Like you a lot, but worry that this plan, Medicare for All, is going to take away private insurance and that it goes too far. Are they right?
No. Let me be very clear. 2 points. For 100 years, from Teddy Roosevelt to Barack Obama, this country has been talking about the need to guarantee health care for all people. And yet today, despite spending twice as much per capita,
our military
twice
is way
as
too
much
money
as any other major country on earth, we got 87 million who are uninsured or underinsured. We got over 60,000 people who die every year because they don't get to a doctor on time. We're getting ripped off outrageously by the greed and corruption of the pharmaceutical industry, which in some cases charges us 10 times more for the same drugs because of their price fixing. 500,000 people go bankrupt every year because they can't afford medical bills. So let me be very clear to my good friends in the Culinary Workers Union, a great union.
I'm all about capitalism.
I will never sign a bill that will reduce the health care benefits they have. We will only expand it for them, for every union in America, and for the working class of this country. Somehow or another, Canada can provide universal health care to all their people at half the cost. UK can do it, France can do it, Germany can, all of Europe can do it. Gee whiz, somehow or another, we are the only major country on earth that can't do it. Why is that? And I'll tell you why. It's because last year the healthcare industry made $100 billion in profits. Pharmaceutical industry, top 6 companies, $69 billion in profit. And those CEOs are contributing to Pete's campaign and other campaigns up here. Let's clear this up. Maybe it is finally time that we said as a nation, enough is enough. The function of a rational
Citizens United
is not to make the pharmaceutical industry and the drug companies rich. It is to provide health care to all people as a human right, not a privilege, no premiums, no co-payments, no deductibles. Well, I think we did. Let me tell you what happened. First of all, you're right. And thank you, Las Vegas, for the excellent medical care I got. in the hospital 2 days. And I think the one area maybe the Mayor Bloomberg and I share, you have 2 stents as well. All right.
25 years ago.
Well, we both have 2 stents. It's a procedure that it's done about 1 million times a year. So we released the full report of that heart attack. Second of all,
Mayor Bloomberg's
we
one good
released
thing.
the full, my whole 29 years in the Capitol, the attending physician, all of my history, medical history, and furthermore, we released reports from 2 leading Vermont cardiologists who described my situation, and by the way, who said Bernie Sanders is more than able to deal with the stress and the vigor of being president of the United States.
They
follow
question him
me
about
around
his
the
age.
campaign trail, 3, 4, 5 events a day. See how you're doing compared to me. Let's level. All right, let's level, Pete.
He's straight.
Under your plan, which is a maintenance continuation of the status quo, that's the. Can I finish? The average American today is paying $12,000 a year. That's what that family is paying. 20% of a $60,000 income, $12,000 a year. Highest prices in the world for prescription drugs.
Yeah.
Just the other day, a major study came out from
Actually,
Yale
no, shit. My
epidemiologists
insurance is higher.
in Lancet, one of the leading medical publications in the world. What they said, my friends, is Medicare for All will save $450 billion a year. Because we are eliminating the absurdity of thousands of separate plans that require hundreds of billions of dollars of administration, and by the way, ending the $100 billion a year in profiteering from the drug companies and the insurance companies. Really, we talk about electability, and everybody up here wants to beat Trump. And we talked about stop and frisk, and we talked about the workplace that Mayor Bloomberg has established and the problems there. But maybe we should also ask how Mayor Bloomberg in 2004 supported George W. Bush for president, put money into Republican candidates for the United States Senate when some of us, Joe and I and others, were fighting for Democrats to control the United States Senate. Maybe we can talk, maybe for the United States Senate when some of us,
that little look to the side like, damn.
For the United States Senate when some of us, Joe and I and others, were fighting for Democrats to control the United States Senate. And maybe we can talk about a billionaire saying that we should not raise the minimum wage, or that we should cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. If that's a way to beat Donald Trump, wow, I would be very surprised.
You want a total ban on natural gas extraction, fracking in the next 5 years. The industry obviously supports a lot of jobs around the country, including thousands in the battleground state of Pennsylvania. One unit official there told the New York Times, quote, "If we end up with a Democratic candidate that supports a fracking ban, I'm going to tell my members that either you don't vote or you vote for the other guy." What do you tell these workers? It's supporting a big industry right now, sir.
What I tell these workers is that the scientists are telling us that if we don't act incredibly boldly within the next 6-7 years, there will be irreparable damage done, not just to Nevada, not just to Vermont or Massachusetts, but to the entire world. Joe said it right. This is an existential threat. You know what that means, Chuck? That means we're fighting for the future of this planet. And the Green New Deal that I support, by the way, will create up to 20 million good-paying jobs as we move our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. This is a moral issue, my friends. We have to take the responsibility of making sure that the planet we leave our children and grandchildren is a planet that is healthy and habitable, that is more important than the profits of the fossil fuel industry. When we talk about a corrupt political system bought by billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg, it manifests itself in a tax code in which not only is Amazon and many other major corporations, some owned by the wealthiest people in this country, not paying a nickel in taxes.
All right.
We have the
That was definitely a good little glimpse into last night's Democratic debate. Like I was saying, I think from what I've seen, it seems like Bernie has stepped it up back to where he belongs. in terms of the debate, because I feel like in the other, I didn't watch the full other one, but then the previous one, it just seemed like he kind of was getting overshadowed a bit. Again, the combination of the media pushing the other candidates as well, I think made it seem like that. I was never saying he wasn't going to win. Like I said, I was still pushing Bernie. I was saying he's going to win. So this just kind of confirmed everything I've been saying and what I still believe. And he gave it to him. We're gonna see what happens. I think things are obviously heating up, but I feel like he's probably starting to pull away at the same time. People really do listen into these debates and actually pull in the facts. And like I said, the fact is he's always been for the people. Now the DNC and the Republicans and the media might push the whole socialism thing, but I mean, if you want to say the person who cares about the people as a whole is a socialist, and the things he'll always just refer to, or anyone could always refer to, is simply, firefighters and police and, the infrastructure, which it's funny as I say it, I have a documentary I'm about to watch right now. America's infrastructure is collapsing or something like that. I don't want to click on it because it's going to change the screen, but the point is, Bernie's that dude. Can't listen to the BS. He's the one who's always been for the people. Like I said, I like Elizabeth as well, but I think at this point Bernie's been able to pull ahead. Now it'd be what I would love to see is Bernie and Elizabeth come together. So if anything happened to Bernie, we are good. And we know whoever backs Bernie is someone who's still going to be for the people. We don't got to worry about any BS. On that stage right now, the only other person I feel like that would be the case with definitely is Elizabeth Warren. I don't know the other candidates enough in terms of Mayor Pete and the other woman to really, speak about how confident I feel that they would continue to be and stand their ground and be firm. And, I don't even know really all of their policies. I know there are a few things that I don't agree with that they've said, and those were enough for me to be like, nope. So I would love to see, I don't think it's going to happen now, especially with the conflict that we've started to see, the headbutting. But I would still love to see Elizabeth and Bernie come together, I'm all about love, peace, and happiness, and I know they're both for the people. So to me, that's the duo right there. That ultimate 1-2 punch. They ain't gonna take nothing, and if anything happened to either of them, we're good. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it moving. It's early, 7 o'clock. I just woke up, jumped into this because I didn't watch the debate last night, so I wanted to catch up and get an idea as to what happened myself. So we're kind of seeing this off for the first time, and it's, no surprises over here. Like I said, Bernie's that dude. But yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. MrRollItUp.com. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Is Bernie pulling ahead? Is he that dude for the people, for the DNC? Will the DNC sabotage him again? This is like a whole drama right now. We are partaking in and watching. I think they may try to pull a fast one, but I think he's starting to, as he pulls ahead more and more, it's like, nah, there's nothing they gotta be able to do. They gotta take it. Just bend over and take it. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving. MrRollItUp.com.
Yeah. They call me Mr. Roll It, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up. Mr. Roll It, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up. Mr. Roll It, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up. Mr. Roll It Up, Mr. Roll It Up. Mr. Roll It, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it up. Mr. Roll It.